Okay, for this recipe, we're doing ×2 because who doesn't want more cookies? All right, so we've got 2 eggs in there instead of 1 and doubled everything else. So in goes the sugar and the salt. Well, there is no salt in this recipe, but I'm adding some anyway because salt is great. So we got this in the bowl and we're just going to whip it with a whip on KitchenAid for about a few minutes just to get it fluffy. Okay, now as you can see, the eggs and the sugar got very light. They're thick, almost like a shaving cream consistency where you sort of right on top of it with the batter dripping off of the beater. It stays for a bit and doesn't immediately sink into the rest of the batter. That's what you're looking for. All right, so we're gonna get this out of here. Okay, now we're gonna get the lemon inside. So this right here is a microplant. You can get it in any, store like Bed Bath & Beyond and whatnot. It's a really fine tool to get just the outside of the zest off the lemon and not any of the bitter white pith, which you don't want. So we're just gonna put that on top of the bowl and I'm just gonna get the zest off of the lemons. Just sort of glide it along and the zest just falls through into the egg and sugar mixture. Nice and easy. All right, so now the 2 lemon zests are in there and we have the remaining lemons as well. We're not gonna waste anything here and we're gonna use the juice from both the lemons also. So just squeeze them through a little fine mesh sieve strainer just so you get all the pits out so they don't fall into your batter. Next, we are going to add the butter. The butter we're just going to use, I had this at room temp for a while, so it's pretty soft. You don't want to use butter straight out of the fridge. It'll just make it a lot harder to add into and to combine with this. You want to have everything really at room temperature. So we got the butter in there now and we're going to switch to the paddle attachment. Pop that in and beat this until the butter becomes one with the rest of the mix. Okay, getting super creative with the placement of my camera here. It's wedged between the top of the KitchenAid and the bottom of the cabinet. Again, I don't have a cameraman and the cat was of no use to me, so working with what I got here, people. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract to it. It's about a teaspoonful, being that I don't have the actual vanilla beans. And we're going to add the flour. Now this is flour and baking powder. So that accounts for pretty much everything. Those last 2 bowls of the 2 different types of sugar that I was telling you about before, we're not gonna need those until before we bake it. So this is gonna go in from here. Make sure you get all that in there. Okay. Now, gonna mix that in. Now don't turn it on too fast. Nice and slow when you add that back in or that is going to go all over the place. Okay, just want to mix that on low speed until it's combined. Okay, so we've got a nice smooth dough. Looks a lot like a cookie dough. Feels real good, it's not too sticky. Almost feels like Play-Doh, to be honest with you. But you can eat this stuff. Well, they say you can eat Play-Doh too, but I doubt it tastes this good. All right. Okay, here's our dough ball. Isn't it glorious? Okay, so we got the dough out of the bowl. We had our glorious little dough ball. Now, we're gonna break it down into little scoops or little balls. All right, because these are Biscotti bites, not your traditional Biscotti. If we were gonna make this in a traditional Biscotti, we could divide this into maybe 2 or 3 pieces, roll it out to a log, sort of like this, brush it with a little egg whites, put a little sugar on top, bake it off, slice it, etc. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut little pieces out. In fact, what might even be better is cutting it like this. All right, and rolling out some smaller logs. This is a very forgiving dough. As you can see, I'm not really adding any flour at all. It is like actually pretty perfect consistency. So I'm gonna roll it out to about, the size of like a roll of quarters and just cut little chunks You could, you know, alternately use an ice cream scoop or some kind of scoop of cookie scoop, whatever. For me, this is easier. You guys can pretty much handle it however you like, but I'm making all these more or less uniform chunks and just gonna roll it into a ball. And we're gonna place them on a sheet pan. So we just keep doing that, put it on the pan. You can kind of crowd them together. We're not baking them off yet. This is just going to be to let the dough rest once we make the balls in the fridge for a couple of hours. Okay, that's the whole batch. That again is a double batch of the recipe I showed you in the beginning. And just wrap the tray in plastic wrap. We're gonna put it in the fridge, let it sit for a few hours, I'd say at least 2 hours, just to firm up the dough a little bit, and then we are going to toss them into some sugar and bake them. Okay, the oven for this is at 355. And while my dishes are drying, because I clean as I go, I wanna give props to my KitchenAid. I've had this thing for over 20 years. I got it as a graduation gift from culinary school, and it still performs awesome and has been with me all this time. So, love it. Okay, so we're back, and the cookie dough's been resting in the fridge for about an hour, hour and a half. Dumped it out into this bowl right here so I could free up the cookie sheet. We have granulated sugar in the first bowl, powdered sugar in the second bowl, and here's our cookie sheets. All right, so what we're gonna do is grab the dough balls, toss them in the granulated sugar first, and then make sure it's all evenly coated, and then in the powdered sugar. And then pop it right on the tray. Space them evenly apart, and then they go right into the oven. There's one more. Okay. And you'll see how doing it this way gives a really cool effect to the finished product. All right, in they go. Got 2 full trays here. See you later. So we're gonna give these about 10 minutes to start, rotate the pans, and then give it another 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how they look. Okay, 10 minutes in, see they're starting to crack on top. That's a good sign. Give them about 5 to 7 more minutes. Okay folks, here they are. They just came out of the oven. Been about 17 minutes total. Got some nice cracks going on there. They're definitely cooked through. A little tad soft in the middle, which is totally desirable. It's gonna carry over a little bit. They're gonna be perfect when they're all cooled down. Looks like that effect I was looking for kind of died in the oven a little bit. They were kind of supposed to have the powdered sugar still on the outside with the crack showing through. That didn't happen. So I bet I know who's behind it, and that would be Carol Baskin. But what you can do is, while they're still hot in the oven, just take one of these, little sifter there, put some powdered sugar in it, and while they're still hot, just hit them with the powdered sugar over the top, and while they're cooling down, they'll adhere and they'll look beautiful anyway. So that's a finished product. Still a little warm, but I'm gonna pick one up and just show you up close. Beautiful. They're gonna taste fantastic. Nice golden brown on the bottom. Have them with some coffee, with some dessert wine. It will be fantastic. Thank you all for watching. Hope everybody's doing well. Miss the people at Fiddler's, and hope to see you all again real soon.